Welcome in to another edition of Training Ground Dispatch here on the SDH Network, presented by Kaiser Permanente. Madison Crews here, alongside one of the voices of Atlanta United in Jason Longshore. We had a little bit of rest after, a long week of talking, of thinking, watching soccer, and, just relaxing. But we're back finally in motion in at least a decent regularly scheduled programming until next week when chaos ensues once again. But we're back at the training ground here, getting you ready for Atlanta United hosting Seattle Sounders this Saturday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Jason, you're coming off of that Charlotte loss. You want to try to bounce back in this Seattle match as well, and it's an opportunity to try to get a turning point in the season, especially with some new additions coming to the squad. Yeah,
you're trying to find some building blocks right now. I mean, you had a good first half against Charlotte. I think that's what's so frustrating and has left a sour taste in everybody's mouth is the first half was good enough to win, and the second half was not. And they fought, and they pulled one back, and they made a game of it. But that first half, I know we've talked a lot about the first 15 minutes of the second half, and that's been an issue all season long. You have to remember, if you score a second goal in the first half, if you score a third goal, the chances were there. The opportunities were there. If you do that, it's ball game. Yep. It's curtains. It's done. You don't have to worry about that first 15 minutes. This team has to take better advantage of when they're in the ascendancy. That's what's so frustrating about Saturday. So now you're looking for building blocks. You're looking for things that you can kind of hang your hat on and things that you can build around for the rest of this season. But also, unfortunately, because of where the schedule is and what the playoff picture looks like, you do have to start looking ahead and thinking about 2026 a little bit. You can start that process now and be competitive while getting there.
And one of those pieces that will be really key to Atlanta United for the rest of this season is a center back who came into the fold as well. We had the chance to speak with him. We had the chance to speak to Enea Mihaj as well as Matt Edwards as well. They talked to media after training today, and here's what they had to say.
When you look back at Charlotte, the first half, the team has created chances. What changed in the second half other than just the game leveling out and score? What changed in terms of the way that it flowed and controlled?
I think conceding a goal that fast can kind of affect you a little bit. I would say we still created a good amount of chances in the second half too. We started a lot of the ball and a lot of the ball in their half. We just obviously, like I said, individual stuff that we got to work on as a group and improve and learn from next week and try to minimize that as much as possible.
I was watching the activity over there today about trying to create the 2v1s and getting you guys involved as fullbacks higher in the field. Could you talk a little bit about that activity and what it does?
Yeah, I think it's just building relationships with our wingers, our 10s and our strikers. And then I would say that we want to be more effective in the attacking third. And I think if you can create an overload, it definitely helps. And just getting us more involved will help balance the team. And I mean, it's hard to defend as a wingback when you have two guys going against you. So
is your game different on the left? Your play style, is it different on the left versus on the right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like on the left I'm probably more inclined to go inside. Then on the right I'm more inclined to overlap. But that's just something I'm working on so I can do both on both sides so I can just be effective. But yeah, it's a little different, but we tried to mold the game that way too, and then just build a relationship with Luke on the left side. I mean, we've played together a while, so it's easier. We get each other. So.
Hi, Jason Longshore, 92.9 The Game Radio, SDH Network. I wanted to ask you about your last season in Portugal, how it went for you as a whole, and what went into your decision to chase something new.
Yeah, it was one of the best seasons I had in my career. Like, no injuries, playing full games. I was the captain of my team, and that's a honor. It was a really good experience, playing in a good level. We did a good season. We almost achieved to enter in the Europe competition, but we was a little bit behind. Yeah, it was a good season for me. And the reason, like I said before, the reason I chose to be here, it was except, because you can see here, this kind of training center, it's a level of Premier League, it's a really good one, and that's a bless for a player, He can improve himself, he can show himself every day, and but the rest of that, like I said to you, I'm here to try to fight for titles with the guys, obviously, and they convinced me that that is the target for Atlanta, and we're gonna do it.
What did you learn from being a captain that made you a better player?
Being a captain, for me, is not like keeping that one and okay. It's like showing up in the difficult moment, and in the good moments go more behind, hide yourself. So yeah, give you a responsibility, a high responsibility, but in the same time, like in the end, when the things go good, you feel like, okay, we did it, and I had to step up in these things and be proud of myself. Obviously, I speak for everyone like a captain, but yeah, that's a thing that improves you like a player when you get the responsibility even higher. That's it.
I wanted to ask you too about how important playing for your national team is and what your aspirations are there.
Obviously, playing for the national team is big honor. It's you play for your country. I play with great players there. The players playing in my position, they play high level like Serie A or La Liga. They are great players, and always I see this thing like opportunity for me when I go there to get things, to learn things. I always in my life is like this. I try to learn from everyone. I try to help everyone, and but national team is something special for me, and I think for all the players. But for us, Albanian, it's a little bit more sometimes, yeah,
Madison Crews, 92 Night game at the SDH Network as well. How has it been getting the chance to get to know all the players on the team as well, and coming into the fold and training with them today?
Yeah, it was amazing. I was waiting about this long time. Yeah, I try, a lot of names. I try to, obviously, I was looking the games, know them, some of them. But yeah, I tried to learn all the names of the staff, the guys, everyone, because here there are many people working for the club, and we need to respect them because they are the guys that many times they are not in front of the camera, but they are very, very important. So I try to learn all the names, and but it was really nice. It's quite hot, but like a Greek, I was in Greece before, so I can say like, okay, I cannot compare or complain about it, so that's okay. But it was nice, yes, really nice, and I'm looking forward to get adapt, even more, and show up myself even more,
First opportunity to actually talk to Mihaj before Saturday's matchup, where we think he'll have an opportunity to get a chance into the match to see what he can bring to the squad, especially in the back line. Ronnie Dylas talked about him before, but also getting the chance to catch up with Matt Edwards too, who has been developing and growing every single time he comes onto the field and help represent this club.
Yeah, I like talking to Matt. I think he's super thoughtful about the game and kind of how everything works. So I like to pick his brain a little bit, like after maybe the first set of questions and he's warmed up, I like to kind of get into his head a little bit and see how he sees the game and feels the game. He's just a really smart guy. And then Enea was really cool to talk to for the first time. Felt really warm, felt really personable. Looking forward to getting to know him better. I think as a player, he's the kind of guy that you want. He's worn the captain's armband, and I loved what he said about what that meant and what that does for a player. That was really cool. And he's a player who wants to be in his national team, and I thought it was very clear what that means to him. So you're getting somebody who's super motivated, coming off of a great season, and comes into a club that he recognizes is bigger than where it is in the table right now, and he wants to help get it there.
So you brought something up as well from watching training today. There was an exercise that Atlanta United did, and it was involving a little bit on the build-up play and getting in some more attacking opportunities, especially as you're in matches, creating some of those patterns that you want to see play out in matches.
Yeah, the schedule gets so chaotic sometimes. I feel like we don't always get to see that level of training and that activity in training. This was one where it feels like more of a normal week. So the attackers and the fullbacks were pulled on one side, other players were on another side doing a different activity, but they went through a series of different patterns of how you want to create 2v1s. Everything was about creating 2v1s in the attacking third. Sometimes that's going to be the winger cutting inside. Sometimes that's going to be the winger staying outside. Sometimes it's going to be the fullback overlapping. Sometimes the fullback's going to stay and hold. Sometimes the central midfielder is going to come over and create the 2v1. Sometimes the striker is going to come over and create the 2v1. It's about creating 2v1s and recognizing quickly where my 2v1 is here. And you have to always react, and that's the thing. Players make decisions on the field, and you can go through patterns, and you don't want players to be robotic, but when one player makes a decision, two more players have to then make a corresponding decision. They can't make the same decision that maybe they had in their head. They have to see what happens and then make a different decision and make it all fit for the spacing. But it's all about 2v1s. It's all about being dangerous in the attacking third, and it's all about the way you create the opportunity. I think at times when we talk about fullbacks getting forward and wingers getting forward, we focus so much on crosses and just the basic kind of cross that we saw David Beckham make a living on. He was great at it, but the game's different now. I think what you see and what Ronnie Deila has talked about consistently and what he wants is you want to get to the end line and cut it back. You want to get maybe not quite all the way to the end line and cut it back to the top of the 18. You have to put in other crosses too, but if you do the same thing over and over and over again, it becomes easy to defend. If you mix up your service and especially set up those cutbacks, that's where your best goals can come from. I think this team has been its best when it's done that. And you have the players who can do it. It's just about creating those relationships and going through an activity like that and all the different permutations of it. Very cool to see them work through it.
It's what Matt and Mihaj also talked about in training and in availability today as well, building those relationships, building those patterns, and getting more comfortable with each other on the field. And hopefully we saw those relationships pan out this Saturday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Atlanta United hosting Seattle Sounders at 7:30 p.m. Myself and Abe Gordon will have the pregame show starting at 6:30 p.m. Then we'll toss it over to the voices of Atlanta United in Mike Conti and Jason Longshore, who are going to have the call for you around 7:40. And hey, opportunity to turn things around. Let's see if they can do it.